British club system, the British amateur club system is the best thing in running in the world. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, in Japan, they've got a corporate relay system, super big. You get employed by a company, big company like Fujitsu or Toshiba or Toyota, and you get to basically be a professional runner. Your job title is administrator, and they pay you to run as fast as they can because the relay race is like branding to them. In America, they've got the collegiate system. So you run for your university, maybe you get a scholarship because you've got some talent, and it's like, again, it's pushing your university, it's branding for your university, and you want to be up there in the cross-country events, track and field. It's super important. And in America and Japan, they've got a very easy, smooth journey from running at that high level at kind of 18 to 22 years old and a little bit older to being able to turn professional in America. The same thing in Japan. Obviously, they're already kind of professionals when they're running specifically for a company in order to brand, in order to kind of push that branding for the company. In the UK, we got 3,000 to 4,000 running clubs. When I grew up in Manchester, I had access to 8 running clubs. I had East Cheshire Harriers, which I chose, Salford on the doorstep, Stockport Harriers, Sale Harriers, and then all that kind of pocket, and you see it from the football clubs, all that pocket of the Northwest. You've got kind of Burnley, Blackburn, and then on the other side of West Yorkshire, you've got Leeds, you've got all those clubs around there. It's heavy, and that's not even going into kind of Cheshire and Merseyside. It's really, really heavy in terms of clubs. And what that means is when a kid is growing up, if they show any interest in sport or specifically running, they've got a running club where they can build some endurance, they can build some stamina. For me, as a young kid, it was about building stamina so I could be a better football player. So my dad knew that the more physically fit I can be, the more stamina I have, the more I can run around and the faster I can be, the better I'm going to be at football, and the more chance I've got to making it in the football world. And he would always say to me, many are called, few are chosen, which is totally true. Many are called, few are chosen, which basically means that the top 0.0001% are going to make it and actually make a career out of football. If you want to make it, you've got to really seriously consider all aspects of your game. He was really big on me that your left foot has got to be good as your right foot. You've got to be able to do certain things. You've got to kind of find your use on the football field. And to add to that, like the base of that, everything that comes before that is your fitness, it's your work ethic. And I got that from sport anyway, but I definitely got it from running. You cannot not do the work in distance running and show up and win a race. It's there in front of you. You can not do your homework and go and ace an exam because you already know the answers. You can't do that in running. And if you've not done the work, it shows up on race day. And that's what I love about running. There's nowhere to hide. And so what happens when you've got clubs like that on your doorstep and you've got access to them, you're going to use it because kids want to play. And if you can get them in early enough and kind of introduce them to sport on a play level, and then it kind of turns into sport later, you're going to get all the skills. Like you're going to get the work ethic, you're going to get the discipline, you're going to get the learning to fail, you're going to get the delayed gratification, you're going to get how it is to be competitive. The world is extremely competitive, and if you're not competitive, that's not going to end well for you. You have to be competitive to a point. You've got to find what you're good at and be as competitive as you possibly can at it. So I got that from running, but what that then gives you, and there's definitely parts missing of the UK club system. There should be, like there is in the US, there should be a nice bridge from good amateur, elite amateur to professional runners. There should be, because the running shoe companies, the big ones like Nike and Adidas and all the rest, have got an amazing club system there that they can back. And certain races, kind of like London Marathon, maybe the Great North Run, maybe they do something for the club system, but it's mainly kind of they act as businesses. We've got in the UK Great British Athletics, Great Britain Athletics and England Athletics. There's loads of kind of like nonsense around what they actually are, which entity owns what, etc., etc. And when they get the lottery funding and the other funding that comes in, I think from kind of charitable causes, it's sort of spent on the sharp end. It's spent on getting Olympic athletes in the second or third year of an Olympic cycle to try to get on the podium. It's completely backward thinking. If that money was spent on the club system, on increasing the base of the triangle, so make running more interesting for kids to get into in the first place, keep kids in sport when those trouble years, the teenage years, 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, when kids kind of get distracted by everything else, whether it's girls, boys, drugs, alcohol, computer games, other sports, great, great distraction, or studies, and they feel that that's super important, because if they want to earn lots of money, because we live in societies that are so focused around success being related to money. So if we can get them in at that age and we can increase the base of the triangle, then obviously the height of the triangle is going to increase as well. And that's going to produce more elite athletes that will essentially become Olympians. The more Olympians that we have, the more people running those qualifying standards that are super high, then the more podium medal. It's really obvious, but it's not something that we kind of like. It's like short-term thinking, which is the same in politics, and no doubt that's exactly the same way. I don't want to mention these boards, but it's like because if I get it wrong, but UK Athletics and Great British Athletics and all these different kind of entities that pretend to be different things, etc. They're trying to win that kind of podium medal off kids that are already there. And don't really need the help, because they're usually backed by companies by that point anyway. If we can put that money into the amateur club system, it shouldn't be, it's becoming a rant video, but they shouldn't be Don Valley Stadium closing. They shouldn't be Crystal Palace Stadium closing. We had a problem at East Cheshire Harriers not too long ago. This is only a couple of years ago, where we couldn't afford to keep the floodlights on in the winter. So you had kids that really wanted to run that didn't have a safe place to go and run because we couldn't afford to fix the floodlights. That is absolutely mind-blowing, when they're blowing hundreds of millions on Olympic cycles to try to kind of compete against America, China, Russia. Who's next? It's like we're trying to, it's soft power, it's soft political power, but we're trying to show that Great Britain is still a superpower. It's absolutely nonsense. If that money would go into the base of the triangle, getting more kids into the sport, keeping more kids into the sport, naturally that would result in more Olympic. So that club that's that's on your doorstep, get yourself down there, because the reason it's so good is no matter what your age, and it's great for your children, of course, but no matter what your age, if you're getting into running, you're gonna surround yourself by like-minded people. You're gonna surround it by people that like running and that want to talk to you about running, and then want to talk to you about the rest of your life as well. But it's positive impact. If you're trying to give up smoking, the last place you want to be is around smokers. If you're trying to put a good habit into your schedule, trying to take on a good habit, best place to be is with other people with that habit. So join a running club, and it's so much easier, because guess what? Tuesday, Thursday, I'm at the running club, I'm training at 7 o'clock, and then Saturday or Sunday we've got a cross-country race, which will be completely new for you. You don't have to sign up for Spartan or some obstacle course in the middle of nowhere. You can sign up for a cross-country race, which is way more tougher, so much more fun, and it's brutal. And then you've got the fell running in the UK. So you've got all those things that are there on your doorstep, and the price of these things is not like 60, 70, 80, about £100 per race. The price of these things is your membership plus a couple of quid, £2 or £3, in order to go to those races and compete for your club in your jersey. There's something really beautiful about that. And despite me being away from the UK for so long, I really miss that. And it's definitely the part of my running career. I've always lived where I felt would be best for my running career. So it's been Granada and it's been Chiang Mai, which is where I am right now. But if I could change anything and I had to stay in the UK, I'd be much more a part of the club system, because I think it's a thing of beauty, and there's nothing like it. No other country in the world has got anything like it, without a doubt.